So an interesting rumor making its rounds today regarding Doc Rivers potentially heading elsewhere to be a head coach, and Mike D'Antoni could be his successor and reunite with James Harden in Philadelphia. Man, we have a lot to talk about. Let's go.
Perfect, perfect, perfect.
What is going on, everybody? RB here. Welcome on into Philly Take with RB. You know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Be sure to ring the bell so you don't miss any of the content. We have you covered all the way up to and through the playoffs, videos, live streams, etc. We got you covered, man. Today we are back, and the last thing I had expected to hear was Doc Rivers potentially being named as a favorite for a couple other coaching jobs. And I mean, look, I wasn't even going to talk about this today. I had some things lined up for tomorrow based on some recent reports and rumors. But man, it's like things are boiling today. Things are boiling on the stove. I think there's some validity to it. I'm going to tell you what I like about this, why, I'm also pissed off. I've been pretty pissed off most of the day about this as it relates to the Sixers, and we have a lot to get into. I can't wait to hear your thoughts as well. But anyway, we got to talk about what happened. So let's give you a timeline. So the last couple days, there have been some interesting whispers, I would say, going around, and here is why. An article came out a couple days ago after the Sixers went on that West Coast trip. They played the Lakers and the Clippers, and someone wrote up an article talking about Sixers players not really relating and not really feeling Doc Rivers anymore as their head coach. And in this article, I remember reading how pretty much this guy was in LA and he was talking to someone maybe close with the team or within the organization. He didn't say who, but apparently they said to him that they don't view us as going far in the playoffs because he had said, I can't pick you guys to go far in the playoffs. And the guy responded by saying, well, me either. Pretty much saying there's no confidence in this team. And I thought that was interesting, but there was never made to be anything more of it, right? However, we get some more traction today, and this was the huge bomb from earlier. NBA Central put it out. It was an article written by Jake Fischer of Bleacher Report, and he was talking about how the Lakers are planning to fire Frank Vogel because, let's be real, the Lakers stink, and, it's time for them to get a new head coach. But in the article, he drops an interesting nugget saying that Doc Rivers has been mentioned as a potential candidate. I even think he said he's like one of the top candidates. And he went on to talk about how Doc Rivers could also be a candidate for the Utah Jazz job because, let's be honest there, Quinn Snyder is a great regular season coach, and, they've done good things in the regular season, but they can't really seem to figure it out come playoff time. Things are kind of going a little bit weird there, and they might have a coaching change as well. But Jake Fischer naming Doc Rivers, to be a potential candidate. And, the interesting reactionary take, of course, is going to be Sixers fans, right? And everybody's happy. Wow, Doc Rivers might actually leave. This shows you how, the frustrations have been boiling with Doc Rivers, and as much as I have hated Doc Rivers' inability to go with young players or give them a chance or make adjustments in the late third quarter, early fourth quarter to win a game, he blew a couple leads against the Suns and the Bucks, and just his inability to adapt, which also cost us last year in the playoffs. All those things have been rising up, and then you have the disrespect to some of the reporters, the babying of Ben Simmons. All this has been just kind of coming together, and a lot of people have hit their breaking point with Doc Rivers, and I haven't liked the job he's done as a coach. Now, at the end of the day, if you go back to the trade deadline when I said that, once we make a trade, of course these guys need to step up, but really, it's going to turn to the coach, Doc Rivers, and seeing the job he needs to do, and he needs to get this team in the right position, optimize the talent, and get them ready for the playoffs. And he, we can say he really hasn't done that to the top level. As much as I have not enjoyed Doc Rivers' coaching job, I have to be honest with you here. I'm pissed off about this because what did I say a couple live streams ago? I feel like every live stream I'm saying, Doc Rivers seems mentally checked out. He seems like he wants to be on a golf course in San Bernardino just hanging out. And, when he came to the Sixers, originally it was the coach Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid. He looked at it as an opportunity. He was originally going to take a year off and maybe retire. He's been in the league coaching for 22 years. He was thinking about retiring, but he took that gamble, probably didn't think there would be as much drama, And now, in his second season, trying to get this team back to the playoffs, which he will, and trying to actually break that curse for once, right? Because he's known for choking leads and, Paul George saying things about him, this and that. And now with 4 games to go in a regular season, you have Jake Fischer putting this report out. Now, I got a little bit of a beef with Jake Fischer for this, man. You just do not do this. The timing, the odd timing of this report is ridiculous. And to me, it's kind of another way for the national media to try to keep Philly down and try to create distractions and keep us off our game. And, we can sit here and be naive and say, oh, well, it's just noise. No. Here's how media works in the current day. Someone puts something out, other guys are going to latch onto it, and now you're going to get, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, James Harden, Tobias Harris, all the guys, they're going to scroll through Twitter. They do it just like we do. And they're going to see this report, and, they're going to keep it in the back of their head, right? They're going to keep it in the back of their head like, that's pretty interesting. Doc Rivers, what does he have, 1 foot out the door? And what have I been saying about his recent press conferences? Like I said, he looks like he's checked out. The way he's talking to the media doesn't sound like he's really intrigued, like the fire is burning anymore. And, now you have this report, and I'm not a fan of this at all coming out leading up to the playoffs. Honestly, I've been pissed about it all day. And I'm not happy, and you should not be happy as a Sixers fan, because even if we want Doc Rivers out of here, even if there is problems, you do not want this kind of distraction heading to the playoffs. And to be honest, Doc Rivers will be asked about it, probably pregame, postgame tonight. We will be live for that. I think he's going to be asked. In fact, I would say it's going to be Keith Pompey. Keith Pompey is going to ask Doc Rivers about this and what needs to happen immediately. He needs to shut it down. He needs to stomp on it and get it out of here right now. Even if it's true, even if there's some truth to it, which honestly, now hearing the other report a couple days ago and seeing this, I think there is some truth to it. And I think, tensions are boiling, and I think Doc may have a foot out. Even if there is truth to it, he needs to get rid of this immediately. It will not be a good look. It will not be good for the locker room. I've seen situations like this before. It is not good. It is not good. And right now, despite what you think, some of these recent games have showed me we have talent to at least compete for a championship. Maybe we're not the favorite, but we have the best player in the league. We have top, guys that can go out here and ball, and we at least have a chance. And we're trying to win a championship. We're at this point in Joel Embiid's tenure, has he ever had really a good coach at this point? Because Brett Brown, now Doc Rivers with all these things, sure, we want to get better talent and a better coach, but we need to go out here and have a run for ourselves. And I said, at the deadline and as of late, with how things have been going, if Doc Rivers doesn't get us, to the Eastern Conference Finals, he's probably gone. He most likely is gone. We will definitely choose these players first, Harden and Embiid, over Doc Rivers, and that's just the truth of what I see, happening based off of history. That has been the truth of history. You're usually going to try to get a different coach to work with these players. But anyway, hopefully Doc stomps this and nips it in the bud right away, and then we'll talk about it and see how it goes. But, would Doc Rivers want to go to L.A.? I don't know. Sure, he loves L.A., but that's going to be a tough situation to fix. It definitely is, and where he's at his point in his career, he's 60 years old. I don't know if he wants to deal with that mess in L.A. But either way, I'm just pissed that this comes out right before a playoff run. But anyway, the other thing that was mentioned in the article was that Mike D'Antoni could potentially gauge interest from Daryl Morey and ownership. Here's the quote, pretty much saying that, in addition to the assistants that we have, Rivers' tenure in Philadelphia has also come into question, spurred by team president Daryl Morey's deadline acquisition of James Harden and the mounting speculation that followed about a potential reunification with Harden's former Rockets head coach, Mike D'Antoni. We know those guys, the history. They've been, he's been his coach for years, and we know their relationship and Daryl Morey, this and that. I'm going to keep it real simple for today. Maybe we'll talk about this more if it comes to life. I don't think D'Antoni's the right guy for this team. D'Antoni, we know the offense, the system he likes to run. Sure, it may benefit James Harden, but the thing with Harden is not skill, in my opinion. It's can he stay healthy right now and get his mindset going. And then, you bring D'Antoni into this team, he's going to take Joel Embiid out of the paint. He's going to completely reshape this offense. And, maybe it would work, but I just don't see it being the best fit. Sure, you may want a guy with experience, but could it also hurt to look at one of the assistants that you have on the bench, right, that have shown that potential if we do indeed go in another direction? I'm not really sure, but I don't think I want to take the bid on Mike D'Antoni, seeing how it worked out in Houston and what they tried to do, what D'Antoni, and Daryl Morey communicated in terms of a roster construction. Sure, they tried to get a bunch of shooters in, which would help, but what would Joel Embiid's game look like? Because let's be honest, Doc's, effort or lack thereof has allowed Joel to become a monster. Even if he doesn't adjust, it's kind of just our guys going out there in part and just dominating, which is something we didn't see consistently under Brett Brown. And I will give Doc some credit for that. But what would Mike D'Antoni do to this offense and how it looks? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting nugget to kind of throw into the article there. But at the end of the day, Sixers have these spurring rumors. And unfortunately, I think there is some life to it. Not because I don't want to see Doc Rivers go at the end of the season because he's frustrated us, but I just don't think the timing is correct. And, Jake Fischer has reported other things before. Some have been right, some haven't, but I just don't think you do it in this situation. Hopefully Doc nips it in the bud and we're ready to go for the playoffs. And hopefully this goes by the wayside. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. I want to hear from you. Give me all your thoughts down below in the comments section. Like always, appreciate you for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will catch you on the next one, man. Peace.
Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.